A woman should be who and what she wants. We support the multifaceted woman. The woman embracing many titles, undertaking different ventures, and building generational wealth. You are a Jackie of all trades, master of your empire. Enterprise Empress, you are an unstoppable force.
Welcome back, Empresses, and thank you all for tuning in to another episode of today's Jackie Show. I am Natalie Rowe, one of your co-hosts.
I am Neidy Hornsby.
We call this show the Today's Jackie Show, and that's because we interview multifaceted women who are Jackies of all trade. They are masters of their empire. These are women who wear many titles, they're undertaking many different ventures, and they are building generational wealth. So tonight we have a very, very special guest. She is a new guest to the show. She is my friend. She is my sister. Her name is Ava. I call her Ava Songbird Bethel. That ain't what her mama named her. Her mama named her Ava Bethel. So welcome to the show, Ava.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be on the Jackie Show. I feel so honored.
Thank you for joining us. I'm super excited about today's conversation.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So, Ava, one of the first things that we always do to start the show is we always ask our guests to tell us some of their titles. So, like for me, I'm a friend, I'm a wife, I'm a mom. What are some of your titles?
Okay, well, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter. Yeah. I'm going to be a wife one day. What else? Some people call me mama.
Yes, they do.
What else? I'm an ordained elder.
Yes. You're an intercessor.
I'm an intercessor. I'm a creative.
Yep.
I'm a lover of style and fashion, and so I have many trades, many things that I love.
Many things, yes.
Yeah.
The red glasses are a dead giveaway about the fashion, just so you know.
Oh, thank you.
They popping. I like it. So let's start off with a game. We try to do something different each show. So you guys want to play a game?
You know, I do, but the games are always a little tricky for me. But yes, let's do it.
Okay, so this one we actually have not played before. So this one is a music trivia. So luckily I get to ask these questions and I have to answer the questions because I scrolled through them and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to know the answers. But let's see, because Ava, music is your thing. So some of the stuff you might know.
Okay.
Okay, so which Billie Holiday song is considered to be one of the first protest songs of the civil rights movement? I'm going to give you some multiple choice.
Okay.
So That's Life, I Guess, Ain't Nobody's Business, Traveling Light, or Strange Fruit.
Hey, well, that's on you.
I want to say Strange Fruit, but I want to say she didn't sing Strange Fruit. I'm going to go with Strange Fruit.
That's correct. Strange Fruit. Go with your gut. Go with your instinct. Okay, so how about this one? Who was the first African-American member of the New York City Opera? So your choices: Marian Anderson, Todd Duncan, Simon Estes, or Sister Rita Jones. The first African-American member of the New York City Opera.
I'm gonna go with Marianne.
Marian, yes, she's the only one. When I was like, I've never heard of that.
I was like, well, we the two in the middle aren't African-American, I don't think. So it's either gonna be it's Marianne.
It's Marianne, yes. So, okay. What year did the Apollo Theater open? Was it 1927, 1914, 1952, or 1934?
52.
52? What do you say, Ava? Anything?
I'm gonna go with, I'm battling between 27 and 34. I think I'm gonna go with 27.
27? You think it's that? Okay, go ahead.
It was 1914. I had no idea the Apollo was that old.
I knew it was old, but wow.
1914?
1914. Yes. I had no idea.
Pretty old.
Yes. Okay, so this one. Which Stevie Wonder album won the Grammy Award for the Album of the Year in 1973? Was it Signed, Sealed, Delivered, For Once in My Life, Talking Book, or Inner Visions? Any Stevie Wonder aficionados in?
I love Stevie Wonder. What was the second album?
For Once in My Life.
I don't think it was Signed, Sealed, Delivered. So I'm gonna go For Once in My Life.
Nady, you want to weigh in on it?
What was the option for C?
The options were Signed, Sealed, Delivered, For Once in My Life, Talking Book, and Inner Visions.
I'm gonna go with C because that's what you did on the Scantron when you did it. So I'm gonna go with C.
So the answer was Inner Visions.
Dang. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna jump. So who is credited for the creation of hip hop? Was it Kool and the Gang, the Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash, or DJ Kool Herc?
I'm going with the Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Me too.
I thought it was the Sugar Hill Gang. We all got that wrong. No, it's DJ Kool Herc.
I don't even know who that is.
Me neither.
Me either.
No idea who that is.
How about this one? This one is closer. Who was the first woman to land 3 #1 songs on Billboard streaming charts in a single year? Was it Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Janet Jackson, or Queen Latifah?
Oh, it's gonna be C or D.
You said in a single year?
In a single year, she landed 3 #1 songs on Billboard streaming charts.
Oh, okay.
Streaming.
So
Nicki Minaj,
yeah,
Meg Thee Stallion, Janet Jackson, or Queen Latifah? Streaming.
Nicki Minaj.
Meg?
This is Meg Thee Stallion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. Only because
streaming.
she's had like back-to-back hits, and I assumed that maybe that was in the same year. And I'm glad you said streaming because I'm glad you said it.
Okay, so this is the last one. Who is the only artist to chart 7 consecutive #1 Billboard Hot 100 hits? Was it Michael, Diana, Whitney, or James?
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
7 consecutive?
7 consecutive #1 Billboard Hot hits.
I'm gonna go with Whitney because that's my heart. So I'm gonna bet on Whitney, but I don't know the answer really.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Michael.
You're gonna go with Michael? I thought Michael. It was actually Whitney.
Oh.
But she did go through that period where everything that came out her mouth was
then that's true.
It was always a hit.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
always.
but
And she had Clive Davis behind her too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all didn't do too bad.
I did pretty bad. But
yeah, no, y'all did good, especially since we didn't know most of them and it was the multiple choice. So
thank God for the multiple choice because
listen,
really,
that's how I passed some of my classes was multiple choice too. I'm just saying. Okay, so Ava, can you talk to us about your musical roots? Like, where did music come from? How was it birthed in your life?
Honestly, y'all, I have not yet found where I get these musical roots from in a natural sense. Like my dad did, he can carry a note, but I don't really know anyone in my family that can, sing or that has recorded or anything like that. So I always accredit, of course, we know that, these gifts come from God. And so I just said, it's just really a God-given gift. It's not something that I know of that's been passed down generationally. So
that's so interesting. Because usually you hear, oh, well, my mom sang or my dad was musical or something.
People always ask this question, but let me say this. I always say, when I found out what the prophetic was, I said, my mom in particular, because both of my parents were teachers, and my mother had a student in her class by the name of Ava. And she said, if I ever have a daughter, I'll name her Ava. Well, my first name means bird, and my last name means, and my last name means house of God. So I said, inevitably, that's what I would do, because that's literally what my name means.
What your name means.
Yeah. And so what's so funny about that is that it goes to show how important names are. Like, that's just not something that you want to take lightly, right? Both from a biblical perspective, like when you read accounts of so many Bible characters, like the names were very intentional and they all had a meaning. So I love that part of your story. But you don't only sing, right? Like you have other artistic talents. What are those?
Well, in all honesty, before I even really knew that I could sing, I danced. My mom had me in ballet, jazz, you name it. I guess she said, I'm just gonna see what this child can do. So I really did dance and thought that my career would take me into dance. Now, when I say career, I mean, I was still dancing on into junior high school really strongly. But so I do dance. I don't dance on a regular, but I do have a background in dance. I do have a background in theater as well. I did some acting outside of college. And I'm just naturally a creative. Like, I have a creative eye for, interior design and fashion and things of that nature. So I'm at the core of who I am a creative in every way. I just can't draw.
So it's not too much to put your child in ballet and tap and dance and jazz, right? That's the message that I'm getting as I'm prepping to put my 3-year-old into stuff. So it's all of that is good.
Put her in there.
Got it.
Catches. Yeah.
You never know what might stick.
You never know. You never know
what might stick. So that's funny. Because my middle child says, "Mommy, why did you never put me in dance?" Like, because you
had dance money? That's what you should have said.
One, because you trip walking up and down the stairs and just walk to putting you in dance. I just saw trips to the ER. I'm sorry. So, but you never know what might stick. So, Neidy, you are better than me.
That's funny, because my grandmother used to tell me, "You gonna kill your own self because you so clumsy." But I used to dance.
Still, okay. Well, maybe there was hope for her after, but hopefully she won't see this part of the show, because if she do, I'm gonna hear about it after, and it's gonna be your fault.
You are.
So, Ava, she actually asked you that. So, at what age did you first start to sing?
Okay, so I realized that I could sing because of my music teacher in elementary school, whose name was Dan Falkowski, and he was our chorus teacher, and he was the one that really discovered that I can sing and brought me to my mother, who taught with him, and she taught kindergarten, and said, "Elise, did you know your daughter could sing?" And she said, "No." And he had me sing for my mom, and that was about around the age of 5. Yeah.
So you've been singing ever since then.
So when she found out I could sing, then she put me in piano and she got me vocal lessons and things of that nature. But just naturally, just having an ear to sing and having an ear for music, I learned and discovered through him that I could sing at around 5.
So you know what the blessing in that I hear is that he identified that talent, right? But not only did he do that, your mom supported it, right?
Absolutely.
Because how often is it like, I have a million other things going on, but she seemed to have like poured into what he identified and what you clearly had a talent for.
Mhm.
So that is like opportunity meets the support of your mom, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
which brings me to the question I've been trying to get to, which is this single.
Yeah.
You have a new single out. I
Can't believe it.
always love the story behind the song, right? Like what inspired the artist to write this song. There's always a backstory. So talk to us about the single, the inspiration, all the details.
Okay, so every time someone says, talk to us about the single, or I'm like, I really have a single. Like I have been singing a really long time. You know, Natalie knows that I've been singing a really long time, and I've always pretty much taken the background role, which I love singing background. And then I started taking the lead role, and I was always of the opinion that just because you can sing doesn't mean that you are going to record or have an album. And I've talked myself out of recording so many years, and here I am in my 40s recording.
Okay, so hold on, Ava. Hold on. Sorry, I don't want you to just fly through that, right? Because that you just said is like a universal thread with all the women that we talk to, with ourselves, right? Oh, I talked myself out of X. I talked myself out of Y. I didn't go to law school directly after undergrad because I talked myself out of it. So to hear that you in like an industry that is so opposite of mine, right? In a world that's so opposite of mine, still convinced yourself not to. How did you overcome that to then, bring us back to the single?
It took, and I tell this to people all the time, it really took me believing that I was good enough to do it, because I could definitely see your gift, and I was going to push you to no end. I wasn't going to let you stop until you did what God said do. But when it came to me, I knew I had a gift, but I didn't really think that it was good enough to go to that extreme. But then now I got it. So when I got it, then I started to record.
Yeah.
So it's really about, you hear people say it, right? You hear people say, you got to believe in yourself. You hear that.
It's so easy to, and by the way, you say that, like we say it to people. I can encourage anyone, put anyone in front of me and I can encourage them,
Absolutely.
but I can't look in the mirror and be like, apply the same thing that I just said to somebody else. So that's absolutely universal.
Yeah.
So
this thing can't be in theory. It has to be in practice. So it took the healing of the soul, and that may sound cliche, but I had, those wounds that were in my soul and that self-sabotage, like I literally had to, because I found myself repackaging toxicity in different stages of my life. And when I found the pattern, I was like, okay, that's it. I got to literally sever myself away from this thing right here. Because this right here got me, with the false humility, like, oh, that's okay. You don't have to. No. And so now I don't make any apologies for what I'm called to do. This is what I've literally been sent to the earth to do.
Repackaging toxicity. That's a whole show. That's a whole show. Because we've all done that, right? And it's like,
and just call it another name.
Call it another name. And at what point do you retire that in order to step into your other self that's just waiting for you to step into her, right? So I love that. So here you are, now you have the single, right? It's recorded. Talk to us about the inspiration there and more about the single.
Okay, so I went to my best friend's brother, who is the producer of this single, Benny Blaze, so amazing. And I said, listen, I need your help. And he said, okay, sis, whatever you need. And so he sent me this 16-bar loop. And okay, so if you know anything about me, I do worship at you know, I do worship, right? And so there's a certain sound in particular that people think about when they think about a worship leader, right? But my background, and I guess we'll get into that later, is really not in church. So, but I wanted a song. I knew that I wanted a song that most people weren't going to expect, because, you know, sometimes people can pigeonhole you, and I wanted to be able to share something different. So he sent me the 16-bar loop. I heard immediately when I heard it, I said, that's it. And I literally, for the first time, first single, we went in the studio and I wrote the song on the spot. It wasn't anything that I thought about in advance, or I had some words that were already penned or anything. It was, I went in the studio, he played the loop, and I began to write. And it wasn't hard to write the words, because it really was, it really is my story. I really was aimlessly wandering, and I did not have any peace of mind. And my relationship with God, as you heard me say, I was not raised in church. I didn't get a relationship with God until I was about 21, 22 years old. So all of that span of time, even though I knew there was a God, or I believed there was a God, just in my own experience, not because of any pressure from anyone else, but I didn't really accept or know that I had a relationship with God till I was about 21, 22. So, and that's when I was introduced to gospel music, believe it or not, because I had no gospel music context at all. I was classically trained, and I listened to we listened to a lot of music in my house, but gospel music wasn't one of them. One of the genres.
I don't know why I thought you grew up in the church. I'm not sure why. I thought that was your background. Like,
no, not at all.
Worship music. Interesting.
Yeah, not at all. My parents were socialites. We listened to. Now I had a vast range of music background that I loved. I listened to Genesis, like Phil Collins, to Diana Ross, to the Police. I loved rock. I loved alternative. I loved Pearl Jam. I mean, so I love country. So I listened to a lot of genres, but just gospel just wasn't one of them that was introduced to me at the time. It wasn't introduced to me really until college. Let me not say that. My mom did have one Shirley Caesar tape. I guess I'm telling my age. And Commission. I knew about Commission, and one Amy Grant song.
That was Amy Grant. You just took me back to like the 90s.
Way back with the big hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy Grant.
Yeah. Wow. So how did you go from and transition from your background into gospel?
So I was introduced to gospel formally in college. And so then I joined, they had a gospel choir. I went to AMDA initially, and then I came back home, and then I went to Miami-Dade. And so they had a gospel choir as well. And that was my true introduction formally to, or singing it anyway, gospel music. That's really when I started singing gospel. And it was, I was going to say it was chorale music, but it wasn't. It was like gospel, traditional gospel music.
Yeah. That's so interesting because, so just a little background, Ava and I have known each other for a long time. And we met in church with her singing. Mm-hmm. So, and if you had known her then, you would not have suspected, just like what you said, Nady, that she didn't come from a church gospel background. Even when she was singing in church, Ava would be singing, and we were young, but Ava would sing and have the whole church laid out. Like from her singing. And remember, the choir stand was so high up in the rafters.
So high, yeah.
In the nosebleed section.
So it's the single gospel music?
It is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of come full circle. So you aren't just a singer, as we've said. You're an ordained minister, which you told us about. You're an evangelist. You are not an evangelist. You're an intercessor. You're a prayer warrior. So how are all of your gifts, how do they kind of come through in your music and in your musical journey?
But before, I'm sorry, Ada, before you even answer that, could you share with folks that may not know what those titles mean, like what they mean from a, I guess, religious context? Like when Natalie said intercessor, what does that mean? What does you know what I mean?
So
that's a really good point, Neidy. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a good point. So I'm an ordained elder. So there's two official ordinations in scripture, which is deacon and elder. So I was ordained an elder of the church last year. Was it last year? We have to ask them. Yeah, I think it was last year.
Yeah, 21,
right? Yeah. And so an intercessor basically is one that prays, but that prays for others.
Okay.
That prays, for other people. So obviously we know that we pray to God, ourselves, but an intercessor stands as one that prays for other people and nations and groups of people and, endeavors, one that really sacrifices that time in prayer for whatever the assignment may be.
Got it. Okay. So then, Natalie, back to your question, which is, how do those roles influence her musical career?
Yes.
I prayer influences every single thing, and it didn't always, but or at least I didn't have it. Let me just say, I didn't have a real knowledge base that prayer was affecting, or it's almost like we see prayer like kind of just one way, but my literal life was like a prayer to God. And so every single thing that I do is undergirded with that relationship, with that connection, with that communication. So you hear it through my music. It's my, my lifestyle comes through that. So I think that everything that I do pretty much is centered from that place, if that makes sense.
No, it seems like you bring your whole self to what you do, which I think, excuse me, which I think it's a blessing to be able to do that, to bring your whole self into the thing that you call a career, or, that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah. I can't do it any other way. Like, I feel like, why wouldn't you want to bring the source of who you are to everything you do? Like, he literally gave you the ability to do what you do.
And the gift is not yours. If you want to go a step further, right? If you're saying that, you know what I mean? Like, you are the vessel that is being used with that, whatever the particular gift it is that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just stewarding over it. I don't own it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So, back in line with our previous conversation about how, the self-sabotage, the repackaging, toxicity, and all of that, specifically within your industry, like, what advice would you give other musicians who are like, yo, I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the work, and I don't see, the fruits of my labors? And this is an assumption, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that within your industry, the whole, cutthroat vibe is probably more so than other industries, right? Like, it just seems to me like the competition to like break in and the gatekeepers to like success are a bit more in your face than in other industries. So for that musician that is like, I am doing everything right, I am putting the time in the studio, my pen game is serious, but I don't see the results of that. What advice would you give them from an inspirational point of view, but also a very practical words of advice?
I would tell a musician to keep the main thing, which is the music. To be authentic to whatever God gave you, because people, I don't care in what industry, people are going to always try to impede upon what you have been called to do, but don't allow that.
Absolutely.
If you can't sit at their table, build your own and keep working You know, you have to be consistent, especially in this day and age. There's such this like overarching entitlement, like you feel like everybody needs to give you something. No, you work, whatever you work for, you will see the fruit of your labor. Don't worry about anybody else. You just work. And the thing that my parents used to tell me is that people always want to give or always want to connect to something that they see somebody actually diligently doing. Now, if they don't see you really doing nothing, they're not going to want to give to that. But when they see you really, I'm telling you, and I know this for just, I'm a witness to this, because when I did my single, when I actually not just talked about it, did not just say, yeah, girl, it's in the work. When I did it, people, I don't even know how they got my number. I don't even know how they got my name. Oh yeah, somebody told me about you. It's like, this thing can't be in theory. It has to be in practice. So I would tell them to, number one, be authentic to whatever they sense that they're supposed to be doing. Number two, keep working. You'll see. If you keep plowing, something's gonna come up. Something's gonna harvest from what you sow. So that's honestly, that's what I would tell. And don't let anybody intimidate you, because most of the time they're the ones intimidated. You know, don't let people intimidate you. Keep doing what you do.
I love that those don't just apply to music. Those are just life lessons in general.
Exactly.
Apply that to anything across the board. So
That's
I
it.
love that. Yeah.
Don't let people impede upon what God's, you know, it's like we want to conform. No, be you. We need more of you.
Do the work. And do
the work.
So I love what you said. It can't be theoretical. It can't be, I mean, give God something to bless, right? Like,
hello.
And you got to do the work.
You got to do
in any industry.
In
any industry, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Perfect. Yes. So one last question. Tell us what's next for Ava.
So, oh my goodness. Well, what I'm doing now, of course, is promoting the single. And typically an artist would promote the single through radio and through streaming. And yes, you can definitely stream the music. I would encourage you to do that. And you can call the radio station and tell them to play that. But I haven't really been pursuing that route so much, although they've been calling me. So what's next for me is to continue to go through the church, because I have a call to the church. Not that I don't have a call to the world, because I do, but I do have a call to the church and through the church. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm also not just singing, I'm training, because I do have a call to train people in this particular area, in the area of prayer, in the area of music, in the area of creativity, right? And to push that agenda in every area, because now, you know, in schools, like they're removing like the arts and, you know, different things, and we don't even realize how much the arts help us therapeutically, you know. So I want to be able to train other people in this particular area. Like I'm training flaggers and dancers, even though I'm not the literal one doing the choreography, but I'm empowering them, because we need more of that. Our children need that. They need that outlet. So what's next for me is building other creatives, building them in themselves, you know, to believe in themselves, that they can actually, and pushing them to do the very thing that I just told you, Neidy, was to empower them. Hey, don't change. Do you, you know? So it's not just the music for me. It's not just the singing. It's not just to perform. I love to sing and I love to perform and I love to worship and I love to do all those, but I have a commitment to the next generation, so that whoever that generation, those that I can touch, it may be just 10, it may be 20, it may be 200, 2,000, 200,000, but whoever the next generation is, I want to be one of the ones to help to raise them up, so they don't have to deal with what I had to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be that type of gatekeeper. I want to be the gatekeeper that protects them from the wolves, not be the gatekeeper that prevents them and keeps them out. No.
That's important work.
It's important work.
Yeah. That outlives you. Okay, so I mean, that was fantastic. With that said, we're gonna go into our last game, and I'm really excited that I'm not playing, but I'm hosting it. It's called Music Scramble. So there will be, I believe our producer is going to put a name of an artist, and it's been scrambled, and it's, you know, it's your job to figure out what that name is.
Okay, let me see if I can do better with this.
So the first one, I don't know, do you guys see it in the chat?
I see it.
Yes, I see it.
Beyonce.
That's Beyonce.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
that
an
was
easy one
easy
because
one.
of the E. I mean, the E gave it away, right?
Yes, the E gave it away.
Beyonce.
Yes.
Okay. Oh wait.
Yolanda.
Yeah, Yolanda Adams.
Okay. Next one.
Hold on. Kirk Franklin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Next one.
Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Oh,
this game is much easier than the trivia.
Yeah.
Give us
you
words.
know what it is? Now that I'm looking at it, never mind. I can see why you guys are getting them. Okay, next one.
Yeah, Prince.
Can you guys pretend to be challenged?
We're sorry. We good with words.
The other game.
The next one.
Whitney Houston. Whitney.
I'm done. Next one.
Wait.
Okay, now this one's a little hard.
Who is that with the B? Brandy.
I love Brandy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This one's easy.
Tasha Cobbs.
Yeah, that one's
easy. I thought so. This one's easy too.
Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
And this one, Ava, it's all on you.
Neo.
No, that's one.
You're
single.
You're single.
You're single.
Because I'm thinking of an artist. Okay.
Speaking of one, Ava, can you give us a snippet? You cannot come on this show and not sing something.
Okay.
There's
no pressure.
way.
No pressure.
All right. I was aimlessly wandering. I had no peace of mind. But you interrupt all my chaos, broke through the darkness, gave me a new start. You are everything to me. That's my little snippet.
That's beautiful, Ava. That's beautiful.
I was waiting for you to continue.
Oh, God. This boy, look, in the church, they say, take all mistakes for love. I'm going to say, take all mistakes for mistakes, because the girl is hoarse tonight.
No, well, that's you hoarse. I cannot wait to get into that single.
Thank you so much, awesome. Y'all. I really appreciate this.
The single is awesome. Fun. I just want to say, I love the opening of the
song the banjo.
With the banjo. Yeah. It's so unexpected, but it starts with the banjo playing. Yeah. I love it. It had me the first time I heard it. It grabbed me. So Ava, tell everyone where they can find you on social media and where they can download one.
Okay, so you can download one everywhere: Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music, everywhere that music you can download. And it is free, so you can just download it. And you can find me anywhere. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Ava Bethel the artist.
Ava Bethel the artist.
Yes, Ava Bethel the artist.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And Miss Neidy, where can you be found on social media?
I can only be found on Instagram because I can't do all of that. So I am on Instagram at Guard Your Genius.
I'm going to follow you right now.
Thank you. I'll follow you back. Natalie, where can they find Enterprise Empress, and where can they watch old episodes?
So we can be found everywhere at Enterprise Empress. And old episodes and this episode you will be able to find on our YouTube channel, which is also Enterprise Empress. So just look us up. Yeah, just search for us and you'll find us. Ava, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. It's been
much.
an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
This was fantastic. Thank you.
It was wonderful. All right, everybody. Until next time, and next time our co-host will be back with us. Sharon, we missed you tonight.
We miss you, Sharon.
Yes. So until next time, ladies, wear your crowns and wear them well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I was aimlessly wandering, had no peace of mind. Then you interrupt all my chaos, broke through the darkness, gave me a new start. You are everything to me. You are abundant joy. You are my everything. I will forever sing. You overshadow me with your love. Your faithfulness is second to none. My hiding place and my redeemer. You're my father and my healer. You are everything, everything to me. I will forever sing. You are my everything, abundant joy you bring. You are my joy and sadness. You are my peace and gladness. I will forever sing, yes. You are, I will. Woo! Father, you are my everything, and I will give you praise forever. I will proclaim your name to all of the nations. What you have done, what you are doing, I will exalt you, oh Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find? You prevail in love above them all. Your steady hand picks me up before I fall. There is none. There is none. Who can find a God like you? Hey. Yes, you are.